Hey there, welcome to Black Gumbo Southern Gardens. Let's start a micro orchard. Okay, so that whole area over there was cleared this winter of a bunch of Bradford pear trees that didn't produce anything. And what I'm going to do is put in some apple trees back there closer to the fence, and I'm going to put some stone fruit right here. Today we're going to plant a peach tree, and we're going to plant probably a nectarine, I'm not entirely sure, right over there. And but the peach tree I've got, it's a nice little peach tree. We're going to plant it there, and I'm going to show you how to keep them small. I've used these stakes in the yard to plan out where I'm going to plant my trees. I want to keep about 10 feet, maybe 8 feet between them so that I can keep these trees small. And that's a wide enough spacing to have some small trees. We can either do an espalier type pruning and grafting and training, but these I think I'm just going to keep them small and keep them goblet style. While over there on my fence over there, I'm going to put 2 apple trees and I'm going to espalier them flat against that tree. But right here I'm going to put in a peach tree, and I'm going to keep that one kind of gobletized and small so that I can reach the fruit. And I'll show you over the years how we manage that tree, how we keep it small, and how it will produce fruit for us. Let's get digging. Here is a good example of how you keep a tree small and you keep it kind of gobletized, as I say. You want to keep the center open. And so this fig tree has grown, and before I knew about pruning, I let this main branch come off, and I shouldn't have. I should have kept this one going. But what I've done is I've pruned it to keep the center open. You can see in here, the center of this tree is fairly open. And I've pruned it just today actually, so that none of the branches are going to be growing into the center, except maybe a few select ones. But for the most part, this tree is growing outward. It's growing laterally and not up, and anything that grows up I'll trim off. It was about up to here today, and I took about that much off of it and cleaned out the interior. So when this tree wakes up, it's going to be a beautiful fig tree. This is my favorite fig tree. It is it's a Celeste, and out of all the figs I have, this one is the best. I don't understand, you know. They say all these other figs are supposed to be wonderful, but this one is the one I like the most. Okay, so we need to dig a hole, and our hole needs to be about the size, a little bit bigger than the size of the pot. And there it is. That's a pretty good sized pot. It's like a 4-gallon, 3-gallon pot. So we're going to start digging. Right up there. This is pretty soft clay. Move, Phoebe. That's good dirt right there. Clean out the bottom of this hole and see where we are. All right, what we have in our hole here is, move, Phoebe. Move. Phoebe's after grubs. We got a little bit of sand back here, and that's surprising to me. That looks like sand that has been kind of brought in to build up this area and fill in holes when the home was built. Normally it's just that black gumbo clay down there. But this topsoil, though, you can see there's about a 3 to 4 inch layer of good topsoil, and then a little bit of sand. That will actually help our peach. So what I'm going to do with this hard clay, we're going to come in and break up the edges of this hole a little bit, so the roots that we might find that are circling will have something to go into. They just won't keep circling. Notches in the side of that wall there. That's hard clay, and we're just going to put some notches in there to encourage the roots to go outward and find some seek places to go other than staying in that hole. Yeah, there we go. Kind of twist when you stick it in there. There we go. Work more on that clay than the sand. That sand is actually a pretty good addition. All right. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. There's not a lot of roots circling around. What is it? This is what we're looking for, a tree that's not root bound. And we'll just drop that right down in there. Let's put a little bit of dirt on the bottom actually to flatten it out. We might want to bring it up a little bit more. Move, Phoebe. Move. Try not to get the weeds. I guess it doesn't matter down there at the bottom. Now you generally want to plant a fruit tree in the soil that it's going to grow. I'm not going to put a lot of potting soil or highly fertilized soil in here. I want this tree to learn to grow in the place where it has to live. And so this heavy clay soil back here is where it has to live. So we're just going to drop it right in, cover it up. Now you don't want to go above the graft. Most fruit trees are scion wood that is the variety that you want that's grafted onto a rootstock. And you can see right here that there is there's a lump. It's scar tissue, and that's where the graft was made. You don't want to plant your tree any higher than that graft. In fact, for the peach tree, we're just going to plant it up to the surface there. All right, you want to drop that in there? Let's see, are we straight up and down?
Yep.
Pretty good. There we go. All right. Now I'll kind of make sure that it's down in there very gently. And we're just going to fill in around it. When we water this in, some of this soil will settle. So I'm going to reserve my pile here in case I need to top it off. Didn't we? I don't mind if the sod is up here on top now. You keep packing, I'll keep shoveling. Move, Phoebe, move, move. All right, our tree is in now. But I want to keep my tree short. I like this branch, but I don't like that it's going upward. So I'm going to put a spacer in here that forces that branch slowly to grow outward. I don't know if this little twig right here, this little branch is alive or not. I'm going to leave it there. But I want this branch, this branch, this branch, this branch, this branch, and that's all. That may look extreme, but what this is going to help do, now that may look extreme, but what that's going to help do is form a goblet shape on this tree. We've topped the apical dominance. It's going to put all of its growing effort into growing side branches, and we're going to select a good shape for this tree and keep it about 6 feet tall. We're going to weigh down our side branches as they grow, either with water bottles or with little spacers you can put here in the notch, like right there. And we're going to bend that branch out. This one has a bud on it. It might put a fruit on, and that will help to weigh it down as well. We're going to keep this tree small. We're going to grow a little fruit tree. All right, this is the first tree in the Black Gumbo Southern Gardening Orchard. I'm going to take this little strap off because it's kind of ringing this tree. And we don't need this anymore.
It's like the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Look at that peach. This is a Rio Grand Peach. It's a local variety, a Texas variety. Should do well here. High five. There's our little tree. It's about 3.5 to 4 feet tall, and we've topped it. Now I might come and put a little latex paint over that to protect it. But you always want to cut, see how I cut at an angle. That way when it rains, water's not going to stand and pool up here and rot this tree away. But we're off to a good start there. I was real impressed with this root system. It's not all bound up, but I'm not impressed with my soil. Never have been. It's black gumbo clay, hence the channel name. And you can see a lot of this just runs right off the top, but there's some working its way down in there. We want to give this plant a good head start. Want to water it in well. And there's not a whole lot you do for planting a peach tree like this. Again, native soil, no amendments. I don't want that tree getting real comfortable and real cozy in the little hole that's filled with all this goodness that I've put in there for it. I don't want it to stay in the hole. And if you just pack a bunch of good topsoil or imported potting mix or garden mix with a lot of amendments in that soil right there, that tree's gonna just stay there because that's where all the good stuff is. We wanna make our trees go out and start to forage and to break into that clay. They can do it. I've got a lemon tree over there that was planted directly in the hardest clay you've ever seen, and over the years it has sent its roots out and it is foraging, and that clay is actually really nutritious clay here. It's black with organic material, but it's dense. This tree can get through that. And so I want it off to a good start. I want it to go out into that clay. I want it to start looking around. Now, I did discover some sand in there. That, again, like I said, was a surprise to me. But I think that tree will find that sand the path of least resistance. And that's a good thing. At least it'll get some roots out there and start looking around for resources. So it's just about when this tree is waking up. It's coming out of dormancy now. I would have liked to have it in the ground, a month ago, but I just decided now to get a peach tree. But if you plant a tree when it's dormant and it wakes up, it doesn't know. It doesn't know that it's been transplanted. It doesn't know that anything has changed. When you prune a tree also in dormancy, it doesn't know. It just wakes up and all of a sudden here's a new reality, and it just goes right to work. So peach tree is in. Okay, so I'm not going to mulch around this tree just yet. What I'm going to do is water it in really well, let it sit for a few days, maybe a week, and see how that soil in there settles down. If it needs to be built back up, I have my reserve over here from the hole, and I'll come and just build up around it. The rest of that soil that's left over I'm going to use to fill low spaces in my garden. But yeah, there we go. We have a peach tree. I'm so happy. This is a big move for me, moving to a micro orchard. You need to read the book, How to Grow a Small Fruit Tree by Ann Ralph. And in that book, you'll learn all kinds of methods of backyard orcharding, multi-sowing trees. You can grow 3 trees in one hole if you keep them small. I'm just going to grow this tree here. I'm going to grow another one by that stake over there, probably a nectarine. And then I got my apple trees coming. They're bench grafts. They're going to be tiny little guys. And in 3 or 4 years, we're looking forward to seeing some progress and fruit on those trees. This is the first one, so here we go. Hey, thanks for joining me on Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. Please like our videos, share them if they're useful to you, and subscribe to our channel. Happy gardening to you. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.